Hey everyone, we've all heard about AI mastering games like chess and Go, right? But what about something a little more complex, like the creative, multi-step reasoning you need for top-tier science? Well, today we're diving into a new AI system that isn't just showing up to compete in elite science Olympiads, it's actually winning gold medals.
Okay, let's just jump straight to the results because honestly, they're pretty mind-blowing. Take a look at this chart. This shows the performance in a major international competition. See that bar for SciAgent? That's the AI. It's not just in the same ballpark as human gold medalists, its score is right up there with the absolute highest performers. And you're going to see this pattern across multiple Olympiads. So here's the big takeaway. We're no longer talking about an AI that's just good at one super specific scientific task. We're looking at an AI that can achieve that elite gold medal level of performance across different scientific disciplines. And that is a massive leap forward. But to really get why this is such a big deal, you kind of have to understand the fundamental challenge that most AI systems face when they try to do science. For years, AI in this space has suffered from what I like to call the one-trick pony problem. The official term for this is domain-bounded reasoning. And what it means is, basically, you could build an AI that was an absolute genius at, say, one specific type of physics calculation. But here's the catch. Its success was totally dependent on humans creating a very specific, handcrafted set of rules just for that one task. It couldn't adapt or transfer its skills to anything else. It was stuck. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got that old specialist model. It's rigid, built for one job, and it just can't generalize. But on the right, that's the new generalist approach that SciAgent is all about. An AI that can actually adapt its thinking across math, physics, and chemistry, putting together its own strategies on the fly. It's much closer to how a human scientist actually works. So the big question is, how on earth did the researchers pull this off? Well, they ditched the idea of building one single giant AI brain. Instead, they created something more like a collaborative dream team. Let's get into what SciAgent actually is. Okay, so SciAgent is what's called a unified multi-agent system, and its whole reason for being is to achieve generalistic scientific reasoning. That's the key phrase here. It's all about the ability to change up its problem-solving strategy depending on the science, depending on the difficulty, all without a human having to step in and tell it what to do. Now, this is where it gets really cool. Check out how SciAgent is structured. The best way to think about it is like a project team at a company. First, you've got the coordinator agent. That's the project manager. It gets a new problem and goes, okay, this looks like a physics question. I'm sending it to the physics department. That department is a worker system, a whole team of agents just for physics. And inside that team, you have the sub-agents. These are the individual experts, the specialists who are generating ideas, double-checking the math, and even reading diagrams. And this isn't just some cutesy analogy we made up. The researchers say it directly in their paper. This entire structure, the coordinator, the workers, the sub-agents, it's all designed to mirror how human scientists break down and tackle huge problems. You decompose it and you distribute the work. And that team-based structure, that's the secret sauce. That's what makes SciAgent so adaptable. It doesn't just use one blunt instrument for every problem. Nope. Each department, each worker system has its own custom-built method perfectly tailored to its field. So let's look at the math team first. For something like an abstract mathematical proof, you need absolute logical perfection, right? So the math team uses this very structured, very rigorous cycle. You have a generator agent that drafts a solution. Then an improver agent comes in to clean it up. And finally, a reviewer agent validates the whole thing. And they just keep running that loop over and over until the proof is completely bulletproof. But for physics, totally different ballgame. Physics problems have diagrams, they have multiple steps. It's messier. So the physics team uses a much more dynamic framework called REACT, which stands for reasoning and acting. Basically, the AI explains its thought process before it takes an action. And here, all the different sub-agents, like an image analyzer for the diagrams and a symbolic reasoner for the equations, they all work together in this fluid, step-by-step way. It's a lot more like how you'd see a real physicist working through a problem on a whiteboard. Okay, so we've got this really elegant, really clever architecture that's inspired by human teams. But does it actually work? Well, the report card is in. Let's look at the scores. First up, the big one, the International Mathematical Olympiad, super prestigious. Out of 42 points, SciAgent nails a 36. Now, that's not just a good score. That actually beats the average score for a human gold medalist. So right away, we know this thing can handle seriously abstract, high-level reasoning.
Then you've got the international mathematics competition. And, well, look at that. A perfect score, 100 out of 100. It literally could not have done better, matching the absolute top human performance. This shows it's not just smart, it's incredibly reliable.
Okay, but what about physics? Can it handle that? Oh yeah, it can. In the International Physics Olympiad, it gets 25 out of 30. And once again, that's comfortably above the average for a human gold medalist. So its adaptive reasoning isn't just a math trick, it works across disciplines. And this result, honestly, this one might be the most jaw-dropping of them all. This is from the Chinese Physics Olympiad, which is known for being incredibly tough. The highest score from a human gold medalist was 199. SciAgent, it scored 264.
Just let that sink in for a second. It didn't just squeak by the top human. It blew past them by 65 points. That is a massive, massive margin, and it just proves how powerful this system is on really complex, multi-stage problems. So, look, winning competitions is cool and all. It's a great benchmark. But what does this really mean for the future of science? This is where things get really interesting, because we're moving beyond just solving exam problems and into the realm of actual discovery. Here's the most important thing to remember. SciAgent isn't just a fancy calculator. It represents a real, concrete step toward what we call generalistic scientific intelligence. We're talking about AI systems that can reason and think across different scientific fields at an expert level, just like our greatest human scientists do. And the roadmap from here is just wow. The research team is already looking at expanding SciAgent into fields like chemistry and biology. They want to integrate even more complex data, images, lab results, you name it. And get this, they want to give the agents persistent memory so they can actually learn from what they've done before. The ultimate goal here is to put systems like this into real labs as true research partners for human scientists.
And that leaves us with this one kind of mind-bending question. For decades, we've designed these incredibly hard exams to find the absolute peak of human scientific talent. And now, an AI has not just passed them, but mastered them. So the real question isn't what can an AI solve anymore? It's what could an AI like this discover all on its own?